Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mishra here, and if you're new, my name is Mishra, and on this channel we talk about all things budgeting as well as our debt-free journey, the good and the inevitably bad. So in today's video, we're gonna go and do kind of like a how-to video. And so I'm gonna walk you through the steps of how to do Dave Ramsey's snowball method for paying off debt. And simultaneously, while I'm doing that, I will be doing my debt update. So a couple of months ago, I did a debt confession video. I'll link it above and below. And basically at that time, I was kind of like, I'm ready to clear off this debt and, throw whatever I can at it. And so my mentality is the same, but if you watch my past few videos, we recently moved from a 2-bedroom basement apartment to a 3-bedroom townhouse. So because of that, our rent has increased. We're now paying for utilities. And so we don't have as much cash flow to just throw at our debt as aggressively as we might have been able to do it before. And so because of that, I'm kind of going back to basics. So we don't have as much cash flow. And so I'm kind of not fully gonna do the Dave Ramsey step 7 baby steps, but not really. So I am going to initially start with a $1,000 emergency fund, but I'm just not gonna stop there. As you know, if you've watched my videos, I have $200 a month that goes into an account for an emergency fund. But right now I have some extra cash, so I'm going to just, for the month of May, by the end of May, I will have that $1,000, and then as the months go by, the $200 a month will just keep getting added to it, and hopefully I don't have to use it. So not exactly Dave Ramsey, because he just says to do the $1,000 and then that's it, and then move on to paying off your debt. But I don't really want to do that. So, but I am kind of going back to the basics, because at this time we don't have as much cash flow. And I think if you're struggling to start or you don't know where to start, I do think that Dave Ramsey's plan can be a good starting point, but it definitely needs to be adapted as time goes by. The debts that you'll see are my debts. So me and my husband, we do combine our finances, but he's not as comfortable showing his stuff as I am, because I don't really care. So I'm not really going to be going into detail about his debt. And like right now, my priority is paying off my debt, where his might not be his priority. So that's what I'm going to do. So the plan is I'm going to pay off my debt first. And then once we kind of have that done, then we'll move on to working on his debt. I still do pay more than the minimum payments on his debt every month anyways. So ideally it would go down if it's not being used. So yeah, so basically that's it. So the debt that you see here today is my debt and my debt only, and we don't have any joint debts. So I'll also say that we combine our finances, but we don't actually have any joint debt. All his loans are his loans and my loans are my loans. So if you haven't heard of the snowball method, so it's not the most mathematically correct, or not correct, but best way to pay off your debt, but it is a good way to kind of gain that momentum, gain that motivation. So it's where you don't worry about the interest rates and you list your debts from the smallest to the highest, and then that's how you pay them off. So it doesn't matter what the interest rate is, but that's what you do. So the debt avalanche method, which is kind of the opposite, is where you list your debts from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. And when you pay off your debts that way, you're paying down more interest, or paying down your principal on the higher interest. So you're saving a lot more interest when you do it that way. So anyways, those are the two methods. Today in this video, I'm only going over the debt snowball method that was basically coined by Dave Ramsey. And yeah, so let's get into that portion of the video. Okay, so for the debt snowball method, you first start by listing your debts from the smallest balance to the highest balance. And so I know I said that this would only be my debt, but actually the first one is my husband's, but I figured since it kind of has a higher interest rate and the balance is low, that it would be an easy one just to kind of knock out. So I added it to the total. So this is the only one that of his that we'll be including in the debt snowball method. And so basically what you do is you list all your minimum payments, and you also have to kind of decide on an additional amount that you can add to this to kind of get your snowball rolling. So I'm going to do $100. So on top of my minimum payments, if I can find $100 a month, it could be $25, it could be $50. It honestly doesn't really matter, but it will just accelerate kind of what you're doing. And then the other kind of crucial part to it is not accumulating more debt. So these are the minimum payments for all of these debts right now. This is the minimum that I pay. Some of the minimum payments are a little bit lower, but this is what I pay every month. And the idea is even though I'll be tackling this debt right now, on this, if I pay the $185 every month, because normally when you have, say, a credit card debt, as you pay your balance, your minimum payment goes down. But instead of paying the lesser minimum payment, just keep it at what that original minimum payment was. So you're paying a little bit extra on the principal, no matter what. So even though you're working on this debt and throwing the additional funds, just keep these at the minimum. And that way you'll still be kind of slowly tackling these ones while also doing this. So that's how I am going to do it. And I think that makes the most sense. So basically you start with this $100 and you add it to this $165. So now your debt snowball payment will be $165 a month. And while you pay this $165, you continue to pay this $185, you continue to pay the $200, $540, $36, $214, $350. These stay the same. And if you're already paying them, it should kind of already be in your budget. So like for me, I know that I can afford these payments. And it's actually kind of scary looking at the number to be like, oh my gosh, I have, and this is just mine, it's not even my husband's, to think like if I had this money back in my pocket, wow. But anyways, I look forward to the day where this will all just be savings. So anyways, $165. And so once you finally pay off this $1,375, then now I take this minimum payment of $165 I was paying here and I apply it to this debt. So if I do that, $165 plus $185 is $350. So now the balance of this debt is $0. And I'll be applying $350 to this debt every month instead of $185. And then for this, I'll be doing $200. For this, I'll be doing $540, $36. For this, I'll be doing $214. And for this, I'll still be doing $350. So once I pay off this debt, then now this $350 can get applied to this credit card. And so if I take this payment of $350 and I add the $200, now I'm paying $550. See how it's kind of like accumulating like a snowball? Like when you have a snowball that you're making with packing snow, it just keeps getting bigger as you roll it into the next one. And then, so again, now you're paying $550 on this debt and you're still doing your minimum payments for the other one. So these are slowly going down every month, especially this loan. It's not a credit card, so it's not compound interest. So as I'm paying this down, it's actually just going down. With the credit card, it's a little bit different because every month there's interest that gets added onto it. So the balance still goes up, if that makes sense. Compound interest just accumulates a lot faster than simple interest. So anyway, so now we're done paying off this debt. So now we're done paying off this debt. And so this $550 is added to this $540. And now our snowball payment is $990.36. So now we're making a lot more momentum because this is going to get paid down a lot quicker. Because really, if you're taking almost $1,000, this should take about 10 months to pay off, right? Versus if I was only paying $214. So now $990 plus $214. Now it's not $990, it's $1,090. So $1,090 plus $214. So now I'm paying $1,304.36. And again, this is zero. And then still paying this $350 on this credit card. And once the balance is zero for this, you add this to this. So that is $1,654.36. And basically, that's the debt snowball method. So you just find whatever extra payments you can pay at the beginning, whether it's $20, $30, $50, $100, it doesn't really matter. And maybe this amount ends up being different month to month, the extra you can put on. But this is just kind of like the method, how you set it up. And yeah, you just add it to the minimum payment. And then once that's done, you just add it to the next minimum payment. And then by the end, you'll start to see the momentum going pretty quickly because you're just adding the payment that you're doing every month. So these are the debts. So this is the total of the debt that I'm focusing on paying off right now. And then after I'll do my husband's. But yeah, so this is the debt snowball method. I hope I was able to explain it clear enough. And maybe next time I can kind of go over the debt avalanche method, or maybe not next time, but in another future video, I can go over the debt avalanche method, because this method is good for people that need motivation, that just like to see kind of quick wins. Because say, for instance, if this credit card was my highest interest rate and that's what I was starting with, it would take so long to pay this off. I'd probably get kind of like burnt out thinking like, oh my goodness, like I can't do this, this is too hard. But as opposed to, paying off this, I could pay it off in a few months. If I have any lump sums, I might even be able to completely wipe it out. I'm like, yes, I paid it off. On to the next one. And so basically this 18,000 balance could be like a bunch of these combined right there, right? And so I would have had like 3 or 4 wins before even reaching 18,000. So it kind of, you have to know yourself and what motivates you. And because obviously the other method with the interest rate will allow you to save more money on interest. But anyway, so that is my video. This is my debt update, and I'm hoping that I can stick with it. I can not be putting any more money onto my credit cards or acquiring any other loans, because that also is critical. You'll also see that things go a lot quicker if you're not accumulating more debt. So that is my video. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Bye.